What's up, deckheads? After a couple of underwhelming months, Humble Choice is back for another attempt to wow us. But is this bundle worth your cash or just plain trash? I'm going to review all the games to find out just that. And, somewhat similar to a certain rapper, I came here with my deck in my hand. That's right, I review all these games on the Steam Deck to tell you how well Valve's glorious gaming gadget handles them. And of course, somewhere in this video, we have the winner of last month's Steam Key giveaway to announce. Want a key as well? Just let me know in the comments. I'll select a winner at random to announce in next month's video. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered is a nostalgia-fueled dive into the golden age of tank controls and unlimited pistol ammo. All three classic games are bundled together, running at a silky 90 frames per second in-game, though the cutscenes plod along at their original 15 frames per second, like a polite reminder of just how old these games are. The tank-like controls take some getting used to. Up and down to move, left and right to rotate. The action controls are also not so intuitive. Still, there's something oddly satisfying about unholstering your pistols and smashing A to put every animal species you encounter on the endangered list. Seriously, if you told me Lara was secretly working against the PETA, I'd believe you. Gameplay is the classic Tomb Raider experience. Platforming, puzzles, and light combat. But the long, empty stretches and sparse environments make the age of these titles hard to ignore. It's all a bit hollow compared to today's standards. With over 40 hours of gameplay and 6 hours of battery life, it's solid value, just not headliner material. But if you've got a soft spot for retro Lara, or a hard spot if you're a 90s kid, this remaster might be worth the trip down memory lane. Dredge is a deceptively chill fishing game with a Lovecraftian twist. You start off reeling in fish, catching crabs of the crustacean variety, and upgrading a boat. Pretty standard stuff until it slowly dawns on you that these waters are less Finding Nemo and more Finding Existential Dread. It's a strange but compelling mix of adventure, horror, and marine management. The story isn't groundbreaking, but it's mysterious enough to keep you casting lines and dredging up secrets. The game rewards curiosity and punishes recklessness. Daytime fishing is safe, but pushing your luck at night can quickly end in the realization that sometimes the fish catch you. On the Steam Deck, Dredge is a smooth sail. It runs locked at 90 frames per second with about 4 hours and 20 minutes of battery life, and the default controller layout handles like a charm. The cartoonish visuals keep things easy on the eyes, the water physics are gorgeous, and the creepy moments sneak up on you just when you're getting comfortable. Whether you're out to reel in profits or poke at whatever's lurking in the dark, Dredge strikes a near-perfect balance between serenity and suspense. Just remember to keep your wits about you, because something is always watching you. If you like what you've seen so far, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell, because here, the only unsolicited deck picks are high-res, hands-on, and always welcome. Aliens Dark Descent is the kind of game that sneaks up on you, just like the xenomorphs it features. What looks like your standard alien story, station wrecked, monsters in the vents, humans totally unprepared, quickly reveals a far more tactical experience. You're playing a real-time version of XCOM, and somehow it actually works. You control a squad of Marines with smart automation doing the heavy lifting. Move the squads as a unit, issue a command, and the right soldier handles the job. It frees you up to focus on positioning, strategy, and surviving the next wave of interstellar terror. Between missions, there's XCOM-style base management, complete with research, resource juggling, and increasingly frazzled Marines trying not to lose their minds. Despite being marked as unsupported, it runs surprisingly well on the Steam Deck. You'll get 40 to 60 frames per second during gameplay, with one hiccup early on during the prologue. Battery life hits around 4 hours and 20 minutes, and the default control scheme is impressively intuitive for a game clearly built for mouse and keyboard. I had low expectations going in, but this might be the best RTS experience available on the deck. The controls are smooth, the mechanics are sharp, and the atmosphere absolutely nails the classic alien tension. That's why I'm awarding Aliens Dark Descent the Grower Not a Shower award. But that's not all. Despite the unsupported status, the game runs exceptionally well with no tinkering required, which is why the game is getting a new award, the Still Finishes Strong award. 1000X Resist is a narrative-heavy sci-fi adventure that feels more like an interactive stage play than a traditional game. You'll spend most of your time exploring and absorbing the story, with action kept to a minimum, unless zipping between memory nodes at warp speed counts. Still, the world is intriguing, and if you enjoy dystopian mysteries and layered storytelling, there's enough here to pull you in. Puzzle segments involve jumping between past and future memories to navigate obstacles. It's not a groundbreaking mechanic, but it breaks up the long stretches of dialogue and helps maintain just enough interactivity to keep you from drifting off mid-monologue. On the Steam Deck, performance holds steady around 60 frames per second, with about 3 hours of battery life. The default controller layout works smoothly, making it easy to kick back and get immersed in the story. I can certainly see the appeal of this game, but if you're anything like me and aren't into narrative-heavy games, this one isn't for you. But if you're in the mood for something moody, mysterious, and a little out there, 1000X Resist may be worth checking out. Novalands is a chill base-building game that lets you live out your wildest dreams of automating everything, including your responsibilities. Inspired by games like Factorio, it starts you off with humble beginnings, manually gathering and crafting your way through early survival, but it doesn't take long before you're building bots to do the grunt work, while you sit back and admire your growing empire like a pixelated mad scientist. The game is so addictive that before I realized it, I'd sunk 2.5 hours into it. The game controls well overall, though inventory management can be a little more fiddly than with a mouse. Still, that's on par for the genre, and it's never bad enough to take you out at the moment. With a locked 90 frames per second and a hearty 6 hours of battery life, Novalands is perfect for zoning out and getting lost in a loop of mining, building, and automating your way to victory. It's cozy, satisfying, and wonderfully low stakes, and the relaxing synthwave music makes this an ideal game to unwind with, especially on the Steam Deck, which is why I'm awarding Novalands the Deck Play Under the Covers award. Diplomacy is Not an Option is a city-building RTS that skips the politics and jumps straight to oppressing peasants and vaporizing angry mobs. You gather resources, grow your town, and build a military force to survive increasingly brutal enemy waves. The plot? Your subjects refuse to pay taxes and rise up against you, which technically makes you the villain, but honestly, being the bad guy is half the fun. There's something deeply satisfying about unleashing magical hellfire on your enemies, such as smiting rebels with divine lasers and sending masses of ragdoll corpses flying everywhere. A clever twist adds tension. If you don't clear out the rebel hideouts in the forest, they'll join the final wave and make your life a lot harder. The game runs around 35 frames per second on the Steam Deck, with a battery life of about 2 hours and 30 minutes. You need to set up a mouse and keyboard layout, but once configured, it plays surprisingly well. It's not a complex RTS, but that simplicity makes it a great pick for bite-sized strategy sessions on the go. It's time to announce the winner of last month's Steam Key giveaway. Congratulations to Marcel PWTF on winning the Fights in Tight Spaces key. This is easily one of my favorite games to play on the deck. Make sure to send a message to the Reddit user Deckisheadus to claim your key. As for the other users, don't worry if you missed out. Leave a comment with the key you want for another chance to win in next month's Steam Key giveaway. Distant Worlds 2 lives up to its Steam Deck status of unsupported. The game crashed after a very long Galaxy generation, even with every setting turned down to minimum. After what Total War Pharaoh did to my deck back in February, I didn't go back in to test after the first crash, because frankly, I'd like to keep my OLED deck functional for at least one more bundle. If you are hoping to explore the Galaxy from the comfort of your handheld, this one's a no-fly zone. Nomad Survival is such a blatant Vampire Survivors clone, it might as well be called Vampire Backpackers. The gameplay loop is nearly identical. Auto-attacking waves of enemies, collecting XP, upgrading skills, and dodging pixelated death. The main twist is that you can equip every weapon and passive in the same run, leading to an onslaught of screen-filling, epilepsy-inducing chaos. There's no weapon fusion system here, at least none that I saw, which strips out a layer of depth. But being able to increase the game speed is a welcome touch, especially when runs can stretch up to 30 minutes. The game is more forgiving and accessible, and with so many weapons firing at once, it delivers a steady stream of flashing light dopamine. The The game runs great on the Steam Deck, with over 6 hours of battery life and smooth controls, but ultimately, Nomad Survival feels like the discount version of a game that already does everything better. Unless you've 100%ed Vampire Survivors and are desperate for more, you're better off sticking with the original. Alright, we've gone through all the games, but now it's time for the big question. Is this bundle worth your cash or just plain trash? But before we get into that, don't leave your deck lonely. Subscribe to join a community that knows how to treat their handhelds right. Your deck deserves the best, and so do you. And now for the verdict. While the headliner is underwhelming and one game crashes, this bundle has many solid games for the deck and should have enough in here for everyone to enjoy. And I can't believe this is a strong point, but they're all Steam keys, which is a huge improvement over the last 2 months. That's a wrap on this month's bundle review. Make sure to keep an eye out for the new series that Stealthy Sharoan and I are starting called Humble Talk, where we go into detailed discussions on the games and compare our experiences 2 weeks after the initial bundle drop. See you next time, deckheads.